Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abdulhak English Farm, your go-to podcast for learning English in a fun and practical way. I'm your host, Abdulhak, and I am so excited to have you here with me today. Today's episode is all about the journey of learning English for beginners. So grab a notebook, sit back, and let's get started.
Learning English is an exciting and rewarding journey, especially for beginners. It's a language that opens up countless opportunities for communication, travel, education, and career advancement. For beginners, the process may seem overwhelming at first, but with the right approach and consistent effort, anyone can start to understand and speak English with confidence. When beginning to learn English, one of the first steps is to familiarize oneself with basic vocabulary. Learning common words used in everyday conversations, such as greetings, numbers, and essential verbs, is an important foundation. Phrases like hello, good morning, how are you, and what is your name are simple but powerful building blocks for initiating conversations. At this stage, it's not necessary to learn every word in the dictionary. Instead, focusing on words and phrases that are useful in daily life will help a beginner quickly gain confidence. Flashcards, either physical or digital, are an excellent tool for remembering new words. Beginners can use flashcards to reinforce their memory and expand their vocabulary each day. Once some basic vocabulary is in place, the next step for beginners is to learn how to form simple sentences. English sentences generally follow a straightforward structure: subject plus verb plus object. For example, I like books or she eats pizza. These simple structures provide the foundation for everyday communication and make it easier to express thoughts, ideas, and needs. Beginners should focus on using these structures with the words they have already learned. As they become more comfortable with basic sentence patterns, they can start experimenting with more complex structures. Alongside vocabulary and sentence building, listening and speaking are essential components of learning English. As a beginner, it's important to listen to English as much as possible to familiarize oneself with the sounds, pronunciation, and rhythm of the language. Listening to slow, clear content like children's TV shows or beginner podcasts can help new learners pick up the language in an easy-to-understand format. For example, shows like ESL Pod is great for beginners. These materials often use simple language and clear pronunciation, which is ideal for those just starting. The act of listening helps train the ear to recognize words and phrases, but it's just as important to practice speaking. At first, speaking may seem daunting, but is one of the fastest ways to improve fluency. Beginners should make it a point to speak English regularly, even if it's just to themselves. A great way to practice speaking is by repeating what you hear in TV shows, podcasts, or movies. This exercise helps improve both pronunciation and confidence. Even if you can't speak perfectly, the more you practice, the better you'll become. Another great method is to engage in language exchange with native speakers or fellow learners. Language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Tandem connect you with English speakers and provide a platform to practice speaking in real conversations. These exchanges are not only helpful for improving language skills, but also for gaining cultural insights. In addition to listening and speaking, reading is another key skill for beginners. Reading in English allows beginners to reinforce vocabulary, see sentence structures in context, and understand grammar rules. It's helpful to start with reading materials that match your level, such as children's books, simple news websites, or graded readers. As you encounter new words or phrases, try to understand them in context, and don't be afraid to use a dictionary if needed. Over time, you will notice an improvement in your reading speed and comprehension. The more you read, the easier it becomes to recognize familiar words and guess the meanings of new ones. Writing is equally important, though it often feels intimidating to beginners. However, writing allows learners to practice sentence construction and reinforce what they've learned. For beginners, keeping a daily journal in English can be a great way to practice. It doesn't have to be long or complex. It can be as simple as writing about your day or describing what you see around you. The more you write, the more comfortable you will become with structuring sentences and expressing ideas in English. Beginners can also try simple writing exercises, like writing short letters or emails, which are practical skills for communication. As beginners progress, they will start to encounter grammar rules that may seem more challenging. English grammar can be tricky, but beginners should not be discouraged. It's important to start with the basics, such as understanding verb tenses, subject-verb agreement, and sentence structure. Once these basic rules are understood, learners can gradually move on to more complex grammar concepts like articles, prepositions, and conditionals. The key to mastering grammar is practice. Regular exercises, quizzes, and writing will help solidify these concepts. Additionally, there are many online resources, including apps, websites, and video tutorials, which provide simple explanations of English grammar for beginners. One of the most important things for beginners to remember is that language learning takes time, and it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is a vital part of the learning process. Rather than being discouraged, beginners should view mistakes as opportunities to improve. The more you practice, the more confident you will become, and over time, the pieces of the language will start to come together. Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and persistence, it is entirely achievable. In the early stages of learning English, it is crucial to be consistent. Even dedicating a small amount of time each day to learning will lead to steady progress. Consistency helps reinforce what has been learned and builds language skills in a gradual but sustainable way. Language learning apps like Duolingo or Babbel are excellent for beginners, as they offer interactive lessons that guide learners through vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation in a fun, gamified way. These apps also allow learners to track their progress, which helps maintain motivation. Learning English is a process that requires dedication, effort, and practice. For beginners, focusing on basic vocabulary, sentence structure, listening, speaking, reading, and writing is essential for laying a strong foundation. Engaging with the language daily, whether through media, conversation, or practice exercises, helps build confidence and fluency. Most importantly, beginners should remember that learning a language is not a race. It's a journey. With the right approach, anyone can succeed in learning English and open up a world of opportunities.